Music can sometimes elicit deep feelings of nostalgia, and there are songs that can instantly take us back to our childhoods, even if you've never heard them before. I was doing some research and I was listening to this song from Donkey Kong Country 2, the 1994 game, and I've never heard this before, but I found myself just feeling this nostalgia for something I've never heard. What is that? Why can music make us feel that? In this video, I want to explore the nostalgia that so much music brings to us, and whether it's from your childhood or something you've never heard before, there is something that just makes us feel this way sometimes. And I think there might be a couple of reasons why that could be. Yeah. Ooh. Wow, yeah. I mean, just right there, there's some really nice chords happening. That A minor to the C major. And then as soon as we start into, like, the theme, I suppose, we have, oh yeah, F major to what I think is like a G major with the B in the bass, and then E minor, A minor, G, looping back around. So it's a beautiful chord progression already. But there's just this, I don't know, it feels nostalgic for some reason. Why is that? Nostalgia is literally defined as like a sentimental longing for one's past. Usually it's a time or a place with happy association. So it makes a lot of sense that the music from many of these old games is very nostalgic for people. It's what they grew up playing. And especially when we take a look at any of the comments on Stickerbush Symphony. Woof, 38 years old, hanging in there. The kid who played these games is still here. Wow. what a statement. This instantly took me back to 2008. It's like I'm on the other side of the room and I can see 7-year-old me just having fun without having to worry about life. I was 13 years old. It was Christmas Eve, 1995. I remember getting up around 7 a.m. and played this game before I went to my grandma's for Christmas. It reminds me of better, simpler times. So yeah, a lot of people have this association because this is a game from their past. It's tied to many positive, happy experiences, which is literally the definition of nostalgia. But I didn't play this game at all. I didn't even have a Super Nintendo. Why do I feel nostalgia? I think there's a very important question that we need to address when we think about what causes music to feel nostalgic. And that is, it's either something about the music is just inherently nostalgic, which is a fascinating concept, or it's that the things we hear that make us feel nostalgic are really only reminding us of things that make us feel nostalgic. And I think that's a very real possibility as well. So let's explore that topic a little bit. I feel like normally music that people deem nostalgic is the stuff that's like usually slow and kind of sad, but not sad, and that might be a key point moving forward that we'll have to think about. But it's not always the case that it needs to be slow and kind of sad, because especially when we think about something like Jubilife City from Pokemon Diamond, I think is very nostalgic for a lot of people. And it has that same kind of quality to it, right? And this is not something that's slow and sad. This is quite upbeat, actually. I actually just arranged this for the piano. You can get the sheet music completely for free. If you want to try playing Jubilife City on the piano, it's actually not as difficult as it might sound. I made a whole video about it on my second channel, the brand new Better Piano channel. And if you don't know about Better Piano is the place that I've recently just launched to try to solve what I think is the fundamental problem with online music courses. And that is getting you to do them. There's a statistic floating around that the average online course completion rate is around 15%. That is insanely low, and that's not what my goal is, to help you learn how to play the piano. I want to create something that will encourage you to stick with it. And that's why I've built Better Piano. Better Piano is a community first piano education platform. My entire library of courses is there and available to members, but almost more importantly, Better Piano is growing into this beautiful, vibrant community of fellow pianists and people from all over the world and all different skill levels who are focused on one thing, and that is getting better at this instrument. From live stream lessons, which we host regularly, to master classes with guest artists that we're going to be doing very soon, Better Piano is quickly becoming the home for like all things learning piano. There are courses and apps. In fact, my own courses, I've taught tens of thousands of people how to play the piano. But the one thing I've always felt is like I can't check in on you and see how you're doing once you've started a course. Better Piano is the opportunity for me to do that and for an entire community of support to help you reach your piano goals. And right now we're running an introductory pricing special while we grow this community and learn what it's going to truly become and the features that are going to help you the most. And so if you want to take advantage of that introductory pricing, there is a link in the description. And in fact, on top of the video I made on my second channel about playing Jubilife City on the piano, there is an entire mini course that breaks down the sheet music step by step and shows you exactly how to play it on the piano. And it's just the first of many that we're going to be doing over on Better Piano. And you guys, that's the best way. If you've ever wanted to support the channel, if you like the things that I do here, that is the absolute best way that you could do that. And I'm so appreciative of your support. We're already growing an incredibly vibrant community over on Better Piano. And I'm just excited to see where this thing goes. We're having a blast over there. I really hope you'll consider joining us. Once again, use that link down in the description if you want to become part of a Better Piano community. But Pokemon Diamond, I mean, this track it has that nostalgia factor to it. And I don't know, it's one of those things where it's like, I don't know if it's because it's like inherently nostalgic or you just hear this and you hear the quality of the sound and it kind of just makes you feel like, man, I can just imagine being a kid playing this. Like, is it something that is inherent or is it something that it's reminding us of? Is it just triggering our own memories of our own childhoods? This is the thing that I've been trying to figure out. And you know, a similarly fascinating concept was described with a word coined by John Koenig called anemoia. And if you go to the Dictionary of Obscure Sorrows, which is a phenomenally interesting YouTube channel.
Looking at old photos, it's hard not to feel a kind of wanderlust, a pang of nostalgia for times you've never experienced.
Anemoia is the nostalgia for a time you've never experienced. And I think it's similar to this feeling in a lot of ways, in the sense that it's something we haven't experienced. But there's an important difference. Where anemoia describes a time that did happen in history, that we look back on and we kind of imagine ourselves existing in. And sometimes we can feel nostalgia for our imagined lives in that time period. This is maybe like the next step to that, because it's not nostalgia for a time from the past that we just never experienced. It's nostalgia for something that never took place at all. We're feeling nostalgia for something that never existed. How does music do that? Maybe it's something inherent. And if it is, well, let's think about what that might be. There are two aspects to Stickerbush Symphony that I think could be contributing to this. Now, one we briefly touched on in the beginning, and that is the harmonic structure of this song. We start on A minor, and then the next chord we hear is C major, right? Now, A minor, any minor chord really, has sort of like a dark, sad-ish kind of quality to it, right? And then we release that into a major chord. So we get this initial sort of sad tone, but it evolves into a little bit of a hopeful tone. There's some happiness in there as well. Well, nostalgia is perhaps kind of a sad feeling. It's a longing, right? It's a desire for something we don't currently have. And that desire is usually for something from the past, something that is positive to us. So it's almost like these two chords are literally nostalgia in musical form. A longing sadness for something happy. Isn't that interesting? Listen to this again. Releases into something happy, something nice, but it still has that, especially with the, oh yeah. And then the next thing we hear is a 4 chord, which 4 is a dark movement from here to hear is darker than a 5 chord, right? It's darker than this G major. That's a much brighter movement. But going to 4, that's why what we call a plagal cadence, or a 4 to a 1, is a darker resolution than a 5 to a 1. It's a much brighter sounding resolution than 4 to 1. So we're operating in a very dark place here. We have A minor to C, and the next thing we hear is this F major. But it's not minor. It's not like it's sad necessarily. It's just a little bit, I don't know. It's a little bit sentimental maybe. But the other part of this, in addition to just the harmony, is the actual construction using the instruments that we're hearing, the sounds that we're hearing. If you didn't know, this is the work of the great David Wise, phenomenal video game composer who did some amazing things with the Super Nintendo. This soundtrack is like way beyond its time with the hardware capabilities that the Super Nintendo had. The fact that David Wise was able to get this sound out of such a basic piece of hardware is absolutely insane. But let's talk about that sound, because I think it's an important factor that's kind of giving us this nostalgic feeling. Everything's kind of muted. Nothing's particularly bright, except for that one airy sound that kind of emerges in the background. Right? Our main sort of like melody, right? Our sort of vamp motif there uses a very mellow, soft, kind of rounded sound. We have this kind of airy feeling, right? Like wind almost. And it kind of gives us a little bit of like a dream-like feel. Okay, what does that have to do with this nostalgia feeling, right? If these sounds can kind of trigger this feeling for us, maybe that has something to do with the feeling. Maybe it is something inherent about the sound and the music. Let's look at another artist that is widely thought of as being an extremely nostalgic sound. Bon Iver is often thought of as having this sound, right? This really ethereal, nostalgic feeling sound. And if you read the comments on any Bon Iver track, you're probably going to find a lot of stories. On the Holocene video alone, something about this song strikes a soft spot in my soul that hurts, and I can't describe why. Whoa, doesn't that sound so much like nostalgia? You know? You can't read too far into some of these. My husband passed away after 45 wonderful years of marriage. Oof. This song made me cry and remember the love we shared. I'm so thankful I had him for 45 years. I mean, come on, you can't... Oh my God. Why does this make people feel this way? You know? Wow. We don't search for old songs. We search for old memories. So what's happening here is like, Bon Iver's music is just making people dig into their memories. It's making people realize they have a nostalgia feeling for something in their own lives. Something about this music is triggering that. And I think there's similarities between Stickerbush Symphony, if you can imagine, and Holocene. It's like, those are two things you would never think of combining and being like, oh, you know what, these are actually kind of similar, right? But if we think about what's going on here, in some ways, they kind of are. They both have that ethereal, almost a dreamlike state in terms of the actual sound quality, the instruments that we're hearing. And they both use similar harmonic structures with a tinge of sadness, but without being explicitly dark and tragic like a Chopin nocturne. And I mean, we can easily show just how much that sound design makes a huge difference. Like, if I play something with just two different piano sounds, one a little bit mellower and darker than the other, it immediately ramps up the nostalgia factor by like 10. Check this out. If I literally play that same exact thing, but with a different piano sound, oh boy, it changes the whole vibe. So obviously, it makes a big difference the types of instrumentation that we use. And whether we're talking about Donkey Kong or Bon Iver, that sound just has a similar mellow, rounded, soft, dark feel to it. But what if none of the inherent aspects of this music are truly triggering those feelings of nostalgia? What if it's truly just because the music that we're hearing is reminding us of things that we do have experience with, and that's what's giving us the nostalgia? Is it possible for the feelings of nostalgia to come from the music itself? Well, if the answer was no, it might make a lot of sense. In fact, most of the comments on both the Stickerbush Symphony and the Holocene videos are people talking about their own memories and how the music relates to those memories. So maybe what's happening is the harmonic structure and the sound design is just putting us in this state where we start digging into our own memory bank and bringing up things from our past. Now that could be the case, but I think it still leaves us with the question of why music puts us in that state to begin with. And this is where I think that concept of anemoia comes into play, because sometimes we feel nostalgia not for the memories that the music makes us recall, but for memories that never existed in the first place. It's almost like the music is making us imagine those memories if we had them. But regardless of what it actually is, I think the incredible thing here is that something as simple as harmony, and not even complex harmony, honestly very simple harmony, can get our minds to wander in such a way that we feel this powerful and deep nostalgia, either for our own past or for some idea of a past that never existed. All from a few chords in a Donkey Kong game from 1994. The power of music never ceases to amaze me. But I want to know your thoughts. Do you think that this is something inherent about the music, or do you think that it's just reminding us of the nostalgia we feel for our own past? Let me know in the comments below, and also let me know what are some of the things that you feel trigger the most deep nostalgia for you. I want to know your thoughts in the comments down below. And once again, if you want to support the channel and become a part of an incredible growing community, check out the brand new Better Piano. There's a link in the description down below. You can get access to our introductory pricing, which will not last forever, so be sure to take advantage of that while you can. We are doing some super fun stuff over there. We just had our last live stream. The next one is coming up in about a week, so if you want to join us for that, be sure to use that link. Join us over on Better Piano. We're having a great time over there. I really hope to see you there, and it's the best way you can support the channel. Anyways, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. I really appreciate it, and we will see you in the next one.